Hey, Cardinal Signs, welcome on into your energetic, we're just going to call it energetic update, okay? So, of course, if you don't know what a cardinal sign is, I am talking about Cancer, Libra, Aries, and Capricorn. Those are the cardinal signs on in the zodiac. They all occupy an angle, so think of it in that way. When I talk about cardinal signs, I'm talking about normally those signs on a natal chart that occupy an angle, because Aries is the first house natally, Cancer is the fourth house natally, Libra is the seventh house, and Capricorn is the 10th house. So you see how they all sit on that particular angle, because they are like the actionary signs because of them being on an angle. So that's what I mean when I say cardinal. So that's just a good takeaway for you. Okay. So I'm just going to take a look at, like I said, the energy, and then I'm pulling the oracle cards, and I will pull some tarot cards in just a second. So, okay, this card wants to pop out. For some reason, this makes me think of like a baby taking his first breath. All right. But this also could be an energy that maybe right now, when it pertains to where you're at in life, you could be in a spot or place where you are starting over. Or it could just be that soon you could be coming up on what I would call a breath of fresh air. So, a breath of fresh air could be a new friend, it could be a new home, it could possibly be a new job, okay? Or this could just simply represent aura. Now, in this particular oracle deck, it is the number 21, as you can see right there. And we know in the tarot, the number 21 is tied to the world. Okay. So this feels like that you probably just completed or went through some sort of a cycle, and now you're about to step into the world anew. Now, depending on how you're stepping into the world now. I mean, that I guess that just depends on what you've been doing, possibly the last couple of years, okay, or a few. So it could be the last 2 or 3 years. You may have possibly feel like it's just been a very trying time. So you're coming to the end of some sort of a cycle. Okay. Some of you possibly have been wondering, when are you going to get your breakthrough? When are you going to be able to break out of, I guess, whatever this situation is that you are um, dealing with. Okay. Now, with the world here, you may be dealing with a Pisces. You could be possibly dealing with a Sagittarius, or since Pisces is naturally tied to the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, the subconscious, therapist. Okay, also astrologer, the creative. So you could be stepping away from the, or you could be ending some sort of chapter in those particular fields. Sagittarius is like higher education, journalism, traveling, anything like that. Okay, but it does kind of feel like that you're waiting on your breakthrough at this particular point in time, but you are coming to the end of some sort of a cycle. Okay. Some of you are coming to the end of a cycle because you've been in an energy where you've been thinking that the world revolves around you. And somewhere along the lines, you've gotten a rude awakening in some sort of area of your life. Okay. Again, it could be any area, because the world does encompass a lot of areas, because it's literally the world. Okay. So it could be anything. Like I said, it could be love, it could be money, it could be house, it could be kids, um, relationships, it could be food, it could be anything like that. Okay. So let's get another card here. Cardinal signs. This card wanted to pop out, but yes. I know you can't really see because my light. There we go. Mini mass right there at the bottom. The authentic self. So I think that's what's going on. You've possibly went through a time period where you didn't really feel like yourself. Moves that you were making, they could have been more so tied to what somebody else wanted for you. Okay. But this also feels like you could be coming into us energy where you're just tired of hiding. You're tired of hiding, again, who you are. Some of you may possibly be tired of hiding, like what you do. It's like you're tired of hiding something about yourself, because this energy, to me, it feels like you really wish you could share, these things that you're doing, but you may be surrounded by people where they don't give you that space to share, and they not be hating about it. Okay. And maybe some of you have actually been in an energy of someone that has been hating on the progress that you've been trying to make in your life, hence why you've been kind of like slowing down. Okay. So it's almost like you could be letting go of unhealthy attachments, but you really could just be letting go of playing the fool. You could be letting go of looking like the idiot because some of you have been sitting in situations where you know have not necessarily been right for you, but your ego. And that's the whole thing with the mini mask. You'll continue to put on the mask because your ego doesn't want you to let go of this thing. And it could be, you spent this much time, you did this, you did that. So it could just be thinking from a place of, oh my God, I have a lot invested in this particular thing. I just won't necessarily let it go. But now it may be coming to a point where you really don't have a choice. But I do feel for the most part that some of you have been sitting in situations, you've been sitting in things, lying to yourself, okay? You've been putting the mask on every day, trying to pretend that you're happy, but you're not. And if this is you, especially if you've been in a long situation, okay, it could take a minute for you to actually get to a place where you are, you, because you got to wash out all that junk. So it's not like you're going to wake up one day and going to walk away and then all of a sudden, life is just supposed to make sense. You still have to get through that area or those periods of time where you're feeling like crap, where you're questioning if you made the right decision. You have to take time. You have to be a little bit more patient and understanding with yourself whenever it pertains to situations like that. Because some of you did sit around too long in a particular situation. One more card and then we'll pull the tarot. Cardinal signs. Cardinal signs. So weird. Willow of the Wisp, treasures hidden within the shadows. I feel like this represents that you need to watch your surroundings. We do have the number 8 coming through. So some of you may have just possibly came out of your Saturn return, or you could have been dealing with somebody very Saturnian. So it could have been a Capricorn. I know I'm talking about Capricorns, but it also could have been Aquarius as well, since Aquarius is a fixed sign. Okay. But when I see this wispy word, it makes me think of like fairies, fairy dust. So I'm not gonna lie, a little bit some of you cardinal signs are living a little bit in la la land right now. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, something has ended or you're about to transition out of something, so it kind of feels like you're still trying to put on that brave face to try to make sure to try to perceive it to the world that everything is okay. Hence why the la la land, the fairy tale land. So some of you could be leaving something behind, but still at the same time, you don't necessarily really want to deal with the reality of the situation. You may not want to deal with the reality of, oh my God, I sat here for all these years and I let this go on. How could I do that to myself? That's not me. That may be the part that some of you are not really wanting to sit with and just accept, or again, my favorite word, take accountability for. Okay. So, because it could be some of you, it may be easier to throw the stone. Okay. Throw whatever object it is at the other person because it's just easier, to blame the other person. But you're going to have to sit with yourself. And I think that's what some of you cardinal signs are not necessarily wanting to do at this particular moment. So if you're not really wanting to do that, then don't expect this new beginning or this beginner's mind or this baby's first breath in a manner to take shape, because it's just not going to. Because there's something about what you're walking away from that you need to own, you need to accept, you need to accept the reality of the situation. Okay. Yeah. It's so weird. I was talking about therapists with the Pisces energy. Some of you could be moving on from a therapist. Some of you could be moving on from a relationship or a situation where you feel like this person's therapist. You feel like this person's caretaker. So, yes, that happened. But then I feel like a part of you still kind of wants to like throw the stone that particular way instead of just saying, you know what, I allowed myself to sit up there and take care of this grown ass man, take care of this grown ass woman whenever I was losing myself in the process. I can't let that happen again. Okay. But there will be a group of people possibly that you are about to come together with. So that could be the other side of this particular energy. You're about to come together in some sort of manner with a group of people to collaborate on something. It gives me big brain type of energy. So it could be a science project. It could be a startup. Some of you actually may be doing a startup, or there may be something particular that you want to do, but it may not benefit you to go to like family or friends, because we know how that can go sometimes. So it may help you out to like go to a complete stranger in a way for you to get help when it pertains to whatever this idea of yours that you have. But there is something hidden in the shadow, and it's a hidden gem, it's a hidden treasure, something that you didn't pay attention before because your mind is just too consumed with everything else that's going on. Okay. So we're gonna pull a few tarot cards. You guys know I love. You see the casing, don't you? You guys know I love this set of cards. Okay, I know a lot of people aren't really a fan of it, but whenever these cards come out, hold on to your wig. Okay, because they do not hold back. These cards in my Japanese oracle deck, they just do not hold back. It's like, I don't care, cry about it. We gotta get you these messages, type of thing. So let's see. Cardinal signs. All right, let's see what we have. Okay, we have the Hermit in reverse. Okay, you're slowly peeking your head out of your shell, out of your cave, whatever it is. There's something about your feet, or there's something tied to socks. I don't know if some of you have been feeling particularly cold on your feet, and it could be 1,000 degrees outside, but for some reason you've been feeling cold on your feet. Okay, so I mean, may not necessarily be a bad idea to maybe go get a pedicure or something like that, but it's like maybe you're not necessarily taking care of your feet in the best way that you should, or there could be something going on with your feet, and it could be like maybe a spiritual sign that you are getting rid of something or you're shedding something, especially maybe if like your feet are shedding, and maybe your feet don't really shed in a way. Okay, but this also may be a time where it's not going to really be beneficial for you to learn something new. Okay, because again, you're still trying to feel through all these changes or all these things in your life that possibly have a question mark over it. Because the gist of this reading is you're ready to move on. There's nothing wrong with that, but it still feels like there's things on the back end, or maybe things internally speaking, that is keeping you from moving on. Okay. But yeah, so we do have Virgo coming through, but we know Virgo is the teacher, but we also know Virgo is the healer. Sixth house is tied to the energy of health. So some of you, there may be some sort of health issue, or you have to be careful because you may be catching something in terms of like a sickness. I don't necessarily think it's super bad, but you may end up going around an elder, possibly like within the next 8 days or the next 8 weeks, and you may end up getting them sick, and it's going to hit them pretty hard. So I would say be very mindful, especially when it pertains, especially if you are a teacher or you are having to be in spaces that are a lot of children. You have to be careful about that. Okay. But yeah, I don't know why I want to say translucent. Okay. So vulnerability, that could be another thing that you're dealing with right now as well. Some vulnerability, maybe whenever it pertains to you're coming out of your shell, or you're coming out of your cave. And now that you're kind of doing that, you realize that, you're vulnerable to what a lot of what's going on around the world. So it could be very empathic or whatever it is, or because you're not used to being out there like that. You're maybe not necessarily used to putting yourself out there like that. Criticism or anything like that, it could be hurting your feelings. Okay, because some of you cardinal signs right now, the past has either hurt your feelings, or you are trying to move into different waters. However, you're too stuck on how your feelings were hurt in the past. You're too stuck on what people said about you in the past. Okay, so there may be some unresolved trauma or just something there that you again need to work through. Some of you, it could be your parents, because I said elders. Okay, so it could be your parents. That may be the thing that's kind of like holding you back in some sort of a manner, because what your parents has said about you or to you is kind of like sticking to you in a way. We have the Ace of Pentacles here in reverse. So worried about money, having to let go of something, or having to release, I guess, some sort of amount of money. And again, this may be something that is tied to the past. But even if you're not having to release some type of money, now this may have already happened, okay? But it could just represent that you're just worried about money, finances, you're just worried about income. So you may be trying to find another source of income, or some of you may have like multiple sources of income, but it just seems like you're struggling to catch up. Sometimes when I see the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, I can see it as that energy where it's just like you're trying to stay above water. You're trying to stay above board, but it's almost just like it's really difficult to do that because of all the things that are going on. Some of you really just need to let go of things that are unnecessary. Okay. Yeah, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So honestly, with this Nine of Swords in reverse, this makes me think a little bit irresponsible. So some of you are being a little bit irresponsible whenever it pertains to your finances, or this may be somebody around you that maybe you share finances with, and you're being a little bit irresponsible with it. But I think the irresponsibleness could be coming from a place of, especially if you are working on ending something, okay, you are just going, okay, you're trying to go in a manner like, I just want to feel, I just want to, you're trying to make up for lost time, and that's not really going to help you here, because like I said, in some sort of manner you're being a little bit irresponsible. Okay, so just especially heading into September, you have to be very careful, because the month of September, you may feel like, again, it will be hard for you to stay head above water in some sort of a way. Okay. Yeah, the hangman. hmm some of you may be having some sort of regrets, but again, you're trying not to show it. You may be having some sort of regrets of not taking some sort of opportunity whenever it presented itself. Okay. And this could have been during the start of Leo season, possibly. But with the hangman here, remember I said you still have some things to clean up before you can properly move forward. Okay. Hangman, honestly, relinquish control. And that could be also with some of you guys, that is the downfall. You're trying to plan out what's going to happen here. You're trying to plan out what's going to happen there. You're trying to plan out what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. And it's really just going against you because it's causing stress, anxiety. Okay. Relinquish control and wait a little bit. It almost kind of gives me that energy of like, wait on the right timing. Now, some of you, this hangman could also represent that you haven't completely let go of a person, or you haven't completely let go of a personal relationship yet, but during this time you may be trying to focus on yourself, because again, you may have felt like that you lost yourself a lot. Yeah, hangman, judgment. Some of you are hanging on to this situation because you are thinking that, okay, you know what, let me give it some more time, and maybe things are going to change. But I feel like the judgment card here is kind of highlighting that it would be a bad decision, or it wouldn't necessarily be the smartest thing for you to do, for you to stay, for you to wait on changes, because you could look up and it will be 2027 and you'll still be in the same spot. Okay. We have the Four of Pentacles. Remember, I said about the money, can't be irresponsible. So this is a time where it feels like that you need to be, yeah, hanging on to your money, being more stingy. Either being more stingy with your money, being more stingy with your time, however you want to, fit it to your situation. Yeah, there is a situation that is not over. We do have the Ace of Wands, though. So this makes you think of retribution, or there is some sort of new passion project or some sort of new thing that you will start soon. Remember, I talked about that group that you're going to get together with. It feels like a startup, or it could just be you guys are working on some sort of project. This is coming through. If you're looking for a job, then there could be an interview coming in the next 5 days from this video. Okay, we have the King of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. Uh-huh. Some of you are worried about not getting picked, but here you are right here. You're beating out the competition, and that's in the Five of Wands as well. You're beating out the competition. So this spread to me just feels like, where do I go from here? Because I've kind of like been stuck for so long. Okay. Yeah. Some of you are still trying to figure out your purpose. And if you are dealing with another water sign, a Pisces or a Scorpio, I don't really think that you're going to let this person go at this particular moment. I mean, I'm just not really getting that. Okay. But I also don't think that I mean, the way that this energy is coming through is like this person is supposed to be maybe part of your life, but I don't really think that this person is actually the one for you. However, um, time may pass by and you could get really impatient because you're trying to figure out why the hell is it taking so long for me to find a relationship. And if that's the case, then you're going to crack and you're going to go back to that person from the past. I just said that. Look, Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and Two of Wands. Okay, some of you, even if you've been divorced, it's still a possibility. Okay, maybe this is the reason. There's been a fire sign man or a woman that's been hiding in the shadows on somebody's side that they haven't necessarily they haven't been being very honest about what their relationship is with this person, and that's why this situation broke apart. You knew about this person, but you didn't really see them as a threat. And that is the issue, that they actually were a threat, okay? There honestly, and in terms of new love, there could be a fire sign that's coming in pretty quickly. This person makes you laugh. They may possibly live in another place, but I really don't think that you and this person are really a match. I don't really think that you and this person are really, the one for each other. It doesn't seem like you guys really are compatible. The Four of Wands is coming in reverse. Lack of compatibility. Okay. But some of you are actually going to realize that if you are separated from somebody or separating from someone, you're going to realize as you guys separate and go into your own space that you aren't really compatible at all. You may start to realize, like, wow, we can't even maintain a relationship when we're away from each other and we took time to heal. You may even start to feel a little bit repulsed by this person. That should let you know that that ain't the right one for you. Yeah. You're not supposed to it's like you're not gonna share your life with this person, it's unrequited. And the justice is at the bottom and it came in reverse, and that just goes along with what I was talking about. It's very unrequited love. Okay. So, cardinal signs, this has been your energetic update. Again, this is for Cancer, Libra, Aries, Capricorn. I hope it helped and see you guys later.